There's an update on ILR extension, whether it's going to affect those already in the UK or not. In fact, they've been going back and forth with this for a very long time. So let's go into the details of exactly what came up yesterday. My name is Tochi. You're welcome to my channel. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up as you're watching, so YouTube can recommend it to more people that needs to see it. To all my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. You're welcome back to today's video. If you're yet to subscribe, I honestly don't know why you haven't yet. Please hit the subscribe button right now. Thank you. Guys, there's been a lot going on with ILR, especially whether they're going to extend the time for ILR to 10 years and then 15 years for care workers, and if it's going to affect those in the UK. That's if they're going to apply it retrospectively, right? So since the government announced this last year, there's just been a lot that has gone on from then till now. And we've also seen that Keir Starmer has announced his resignation, and we're expecting to have a new prime minister soon. So following all of this, the change in leadership and everything, there's just been a lot of changes. Whether the new prime minister will follow the already existing plans and proposals, or whether there's going to be a U-turn, whether he's going to change his mind and bring forth his own changes, right? So yesterday, I just came across this news that they are likely to make a U-turn, and other parties are saying no, that they should still stand on it, because why should you announce something and you now want to make a U-turn? That means you're not reliable. Conservative Party have even released a letter to this effect. I also heard where the Reform Party was talking about it as well, and a lot. So let's just go straight into it. Let me show you guys everything. If your future in the UK depends on getting a sponsored job, there's some things you should always check before you hit apply. Most people spend hours tailoring CVs, writing cover letters, putting out applications without even knowing if the employer can sponsor their visa. That means you could be putting hours into an application that never had a chance. As someone who has seen how hard it is to land a job role in the UK, I was really impressed by this one feature in CV Matchly AI, which is the sponsorship analysis. Before you apply, it shows you whether the employer is likely to sponsor, the sponsorship route they use, and whether the salary meets the skilled worker visa threshold. So instead of applying blindly, you can focus your time on opportunities that actually align with your visa sponsorship goals. It also helps optimize your CV for ATS. So you're not just applying to the right jobs, you're also applying with a stronger CV. And if you're applying for NHS roles, it even generates a tailored NHS supporting statement in minutes, saving you hours of writing. So if you're serious about building your career in the UK, this is definitely worth checking out. I've left the link in the description below. You can use my discount code TOCHI50 to get 50% off the premium plan. Check out CV Matchly AI today and you can thank me later. Now back to the video. So the first report is from Guardian. So let's just scroll to the ILR part, okay? The one that a lot of us are interested in. So here, one option under consideration is that those currently in the UK would qualify for ILR after the 5-year wait rather than a decade, rather than the proposed 10 years, okay? But we need to wait an additional period in order to claim any state benefits. So it means you can still qualify for ILR after 5 years under what they are still considering, because they're telling us that they're going to announce it by autumn. Right? So obviously, we all know that since this proposal was announced, a lot of people are against it, kicking against it, and just asking government to reconsider. So now they're saying that, okay, one of the things that they're considering is this, that people can still get ILR in 5 years, but would need to wait an additional period in order to claim any state benefits, because obviously benefits, the welfare system is something that they've been talking about since, and one of the reasons why they're extending time for ILR. So almost 80 Labour MPs have signed a letter to Bonham urging him to change the policy to stop it from applying to migrants already in the country, calling it an anathema to who we are, what we stand for, and how we should do politics. Bonham signaled during his Macclesfield by-election campaign that he was comfortable with most of the immigration changes being made by Mahmood, who is widely expected to stay on as Home Secretary. A spokesman for Bonham said Andy believes the public deserve an asylum system that is both compassionate and credible. So a lot of them have written to Bonham not to continue with the plan and proposal that Shabana Mahmood and Kestama already started. Okay, they're also planning to introduce some major changes to the asylum system as well. Now, moving on, there was also another one that was published by the Times and has been summarized here. Home Office may exempt 1.6 million migrants from the 10-year ILR rule, the Times reports. So the Home Office is considering a major concession on its plans to double the qualifying period for indefinite leave to remain, according to a report published by the Times on 13th of July 2026. So one of the most controversial parts of this plan has been its retrospective effect. So as drafted, the 10-year rule would apply to people who are already in the UK who came here expecting to settle after 5 years. According to the Times, officials have now drawn up several options to soften the impact on those already here, because obviously the impact is going to hit a lot of people hard. So under one scenario, migrants who arrived since 2021 would still qualify for ILR after 5 years. In return, they would have to wait a further 3 to 4 years after getting ILR before they would access benefits such as universal credit, housing support, and disability payments. The report states this waiting period will also apply to refugees. Now, remember that this was one of the things that was asked, that migrants asked when we signed that petition of, oh, keep the 5 years ILR, but you can take away benefits. Because obviously, if you come to think of it, a lot of migrants are not, legal migrants are not entitled to public funds, and it's only written in your visa, no recourse to public funds, okay? And you've had to live and survive and stay with that for 5 years. So why do you think, or how do you think that we can still not survive after getting ILR? Do you get what I mean? So that ILR is very, very important. It gives a lot of freedom. You're not tied to any visa, because we all understand how limiting being on a visa can be. But with ILR, you have a little more freedom to do a lot of things, do more work, do more business without being tied to a visa and the restrictions that comes with being on a visa you get. So this is something that migrants even proposed in the first place. Okay, I remember we signed that petition. If you signed that petition, if you remember, please let me know in the comment section. But another question here will now be, okay, after getting ILR in 5 years and you have to wait for 3 to 4 years before accessing benefits, when are you now going to apply for British citizenship? Because we know that now it's after 1 year of applying for ILR, you're entitled to apply for your British citizenship. So with this now, are they saying that Americans will not have to wait 3 to 4 years before applying for British citizenship, or what exactly is this? Remember, they've not announced anything official yet. This is just what was published by the Times, and it's just for us to understand what's going on, because that's the essence of reading the news, to understand what's going on, okay? And it will also help us to see what to expect, to know what to expect by autumn, or when the final decision is announced. A government source quoted in the article, he said that what it boils down is to benefits. Yes, obviously. So you would allow them to get ILR after 5 years, but you don't allow them to claim benefits until 3 or 4 years later. So the report comes at a moment of political change, and the Bonham is set to become Prime Minister on 20th of July, and the Times report that he has criticized the retrospective application of the ILR changes as unfair, while supporting the broad thrust of the wider immigration reforms. Nearly 80 Labour MPs signed a letter last week urging him to scrap the retrospective element of the policy. So the Home Secretary has also said that some migrants may receive special treatment to limit the impact of the changes. According to the report, this could include exempting more than 600,000 foreign care workers from the 10-year requirement. So a Home Office spokesman quoted by the Times said, "Settlement in the UK is a privilege, not a right. This is why we are reforming settlement rules based on contribution to the UK and ensuring those staying here respect our laws and contribute to our country." So guys, this is the update. And this morning, I just saw that the leader of the Conservative Party, after reading this report, now wrote a letter to the Home Secretary. And when I saw this, I was like, what is even this? But let's see. She posted, people who come to Britain on temporary work visa should not automatically be able to stay forever. This Labour government was right to make that harder. Now their MPs want them to U-turn. Conservatives will back Labour's original plan to help it through Parliament. So she's basically saying that how would you announce something that you want to make changes and all of a sudden you now want to make a U-turn, right? So in one of the paragraphs she said, we supported the proposals and had tabled similar before Parliament some months earlier. We are concerned to read reports today that following pressure from Labour MPs anticipating a new direction from an incoming Prime Minister, you are now considering U-turning on previous commitments and exempting approximately 2 million immigrants who entered the country on work visas from 2021 to today from these changes. So this is a grave mistake, as Conservatives learned to our cost. 5 years is too short a time to obtain indefinite leave to remain in the UK. Many of these immigrants are working in low wage, low skill jobs, which could be done by some of the 9 million economically inactive British citizens. Individuals who are not making a significant economic contribution over a 10-year period should not be allowed to stay indefinitely. Those not working or working in low-paid jobs should be required to go home at the end of their temporary work visas. Receiving ILR currently carries full entitlement to receive benefits. Even if these were restricted for an additional qualification period, as some have called for, as things stand, the migrants concerned would become eligible for British citizenship a year after receiving ILR, and it will be very difficult to restrict benefits for citizens. And we also note there's currently no provision in the Immigration Asylum Bill or existing powers to vary the welfare entitlements of people with ILR. A U-turn on ILR would unleash huge increases in benefit claims by recent arrivals, which hard-pressed taxpayers cannot afford to fund. The government is perfectly entitled to decide at any time the rules on indefinite rights of settlement, including in relation to those here already. No one who have come here on a temporary work visa should have the automatic right to stay forever, and changing the rules to extend the qualifying period and add conditions for new applications does not constitute a retrospective change. So we are copying this letter to Andy Bonham MP in anticipation to his becoming Prime Minister. So we appreciate you have challenges with your MPs and influential campaign groups. Therefore, if you table the proposal set out last autumn in undiluted form, either in the immigration rules or as part of the immigration and asylum bills, we will support them. So this is the letter that she wrote to the Home Secretary. Okay, so guys, when I saw this, I was like what is this? In fact, some people in the comment section were like, why didn't you do it? You want to do it so that people will not support Labour government anymore. Why didn't you do it? You know that if you do it, you will not get the support of the people. Immigrants will not even vote for you again. So you're now pushing it to Labour Party, so it will not be them that will do it and then lose the support of the people during the general election. People are like, everything is politics at the end of the day, you know. So there were a lot of backlash. People criticized Kemi Badenoch for releasing this kind of letters, you know, considering how she came to the UK. There were just a lot. Just go to the comment section of that post and you will see what a lot of people are saying. So I just thought to share with you all to know what's going on, and this is looking good so far from the Labour perspective. You know, coming from the Labour government, you could see that a lot of people, a lot of MPs are against the retrospective arrangement. A lot of people are not in support of it and they are kicking against it. So, and they are begging and pleading with Andy to do something about it, right? So let's see what happens. Obviously, whatever comes up regarding this, I'll let you guys know. But this is not final. No changes has been made so far, as we all know, but as always, we just try to stay updated. So guys, that is it for today's video. I want to hear what you think in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.